Let me walk you into a moment that is happening in real homes right now. An adult son is sitting at his dining room table with a stack of papers and his laptop open. He inherited his mother's IRA a few years ago. He believed that money would help his own kids with college and keep his family steady. Then his tax preparer says, "You missed required distributions. There's a penalty, and the deadline is closer than you think." Now he is staring at numbers that do not feel real. A penalty on money he didn't even know he had to withdraw, and a warning that if he waits until the final year and pulls the whole balance at once, a huge portion of that inheritance could be lost to taxes in a single year. He keeps repeating the same sentence. "My mom saved this her whole life. How can it disappear this fast?" If you have an IRA and you plan to leave it to your children or grandchildren, this video matters. Because there is a rule change most families still do not understand, and it can erase a major part of what you meant to pass on. I am Edward. I am a senior policy analyst and retirement finance expert, and I help retirees understand complicated rules before those rules create expensive surprises. Today we're talking about the inherited IRA 10-year rule created by the Secure Act and clarified by IRS Final Regulations. It changed what happens when your IRA goes to your children. In this video, I'll explain, in plain English, what the rule actually requires, what the 2028 deadline is referring to, and the 3 steps you should take right now to protect your family. And please stay with me until the end, because there is one hidden mistake, very common, very understandable, that causes families to lose tens of thousands of dollars. It's not about being careless. It's about not knowing the rules changed. Let me start with a story. Robert is 72. He lives in North Carolina. He worked for decades, saved slowly, and built a traditional IRA worth about $400,000. He always told his daughter Angela, "This is what I'm leaving you. This will keep you safe." Robert passed away in 2020. Angela inherited the IRA. She did what most people do. She opened an inherited IRA account. She asked a quick question at the bank. She was told, "You have 10 years. Just make sure it's empty by the end." So Angela made a plan. She thought she'd wait several years, then take the money later when she had time to deal with taxes. Here is the trap. Robert had already started taking his required minimum distributions before he died. That meant Angela did not just have a 10-year end date. Under IRS rules clarified in 2024, she also needed to take annual distributions in years 1 through 9, then empty the rest by year 10. Angela didn't know that. She missed distributions. For a period, the IRS waived penalties for missed annual inherited IRA distributions for 2021 through 2024, so Angela didn't feel any immediate consequence. Then 2025 arrived, the waiver period ended. Now missing required distributions can trigger a 25% excise tax penalty on the amount that should have been withdrawn. And when Angela finally sat down to just take it all in year 10, she discovered the second punch in the stomach. Taking a huge lump sum could push her into a much higher tax bracket and hand over a massive part of her father's legacy to the IRS. Robert saved for decades. Angela didn't do anything reckless, but one missing detail changed everything. That is what we are fixing today, with facts and with a plan. Everything here comes from IRS.gov, IRS Publication 590B, IRS Final Regulations issued in 2024, and supporting guidance referenced by AARP and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. A. The law that changed inherited IRAs. The Secure Act was signed on December 20, 2019. Secure 2.0 was signed on December 29, 2022. Together, these laws changed inherited IRA rules for most non-spouse beneficiaries. Before 2020, many adult children could use what people call the stretch IRA, smaller withdrawals over their lifetime. For most families, that is gone now. The 10-year rule. What it really means if you inherit an IRA on or after January 1st, 2020, and you are not a spouse, you generally must withdraw the entire inherited IRA by the end of the 10th year after the original owner's death. That applies to adult children, grandchildren, most other non-spouse beneficiaries, and some trusts, who is exempt, eligible designated beneficiaries. Some people are still allowed to stretch distributions over life expectancy. These eligible designated beneficiaries include surviving spouses, minor children of the original owner only until they reach the age of majority, then the 10-year clock starts, disabled individuals, as defined in IRS rules, chronically ill individuals, individuals not more than 10 years younger than the deceased. Most adult children do not fall into these categories, which is why this issue is hitting so many families. The part most people miss: annual RMDs inside the 10-year window. In July 2024, the IRS issued final regulations confirming if the original IRA owner had already started RMDs before death, then the beneficiary must take annual distributions in years 1 through 9 and still empty the account by year 10. If the original owner died before they had to start RMDs, the beneficiary still must empty the account by year 10, but annual RMDs in years 1 through 9 are not required. This single detail is where many families get hit with penalties. The transition relief ended. The IRS provided penalty relief for missed annual inherited IRA distributions for tax years 2021 through 2024. That relief ended December 31st, 2024. Starting in 2025, penalties can apply again if required distributions are missed. What people mean by the 2028 deadline. The phrase 2028 deadline is commonly used to describe cases where an inherited IRA's 10-year period ends in 2028, meaning the account must be fully distributed by December 31st, 2028. If you inherited in 2018 and are in a situation where a 10-year distribution deadline applies under transition-related treatment, that deadline is approaching fast. And even if your personal deadline isn't 2028, the bigger point is this: many families are dangerously close to their own year 10 date without a plan. G. The chain reaction: taxes, Medicare, and Social Security. If your child inherits a traditional IRA, distributions are generally taxed as ordinary income. If they take a huge lump sum in 1 year, they can jump into a higher federal tax bracket, trigger Medicare IRMAA premium surcharges 2 years later if they're on Medicare, and potentially increase how much of their Social Security becomes taxable if they receive benefits. This is why just wait until year 10 can be a financial disaster. Now let's get practical. Here are 3 steps you can take. Step 1. Check and update your beneficiary forms. Do not assume your will controls your IRA. Your IRA beneficiary designation is its own legal instruction. It overrides your will. Call your IRA custodian and ask for a copy of your beneficiary designation. Review it. If it lists an ex-spouse, a deceased person, or my estate, update it immediately. Step 2. If you inherited an IRA, identify which rule you are under. Ask 2 questions. 1. Did the original owner die in 2020 or later? 2. Had the original owner already started RMDs? Those 2 answers determine whether annual distributions are required during the 10-year period. If you missed required distributions, do not guess and do not hide from it. IRS Form 5329 can be used to report and potentially request penalty relief for missed RMD-related excise taxes depending on your situation. And IRS Publication 590B is the official guide to calculating and following the rules. Factors. Step 3. Consider tax planning before your children inherit. If you are the IRA owner, talk to a qualified tax professional about whether strategies like Roth conversions, qualified charitable distributions, if eligible, or a multi-year withdrawal plan could reduce the tax burden your children face. The goal is not to avoid taxes illegally. The goal is to avoid preventable tax damage created by poor timing and outdated assumptions. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. The IRA rules your family may be counting on are not the same rules that exist today. The 10-year rule is real. The penalty rules are real. And waiting until the final year can turn a gift into a tax bomb. And here's the problem. Most seniors only hear about these changes by accident, after a letter shows up, after an accountant flags it, after a penalty is already in motion. Do not rely only on YouTube notifications for updates. The algorithm does not protect you. Click the link in the description and join the Global Senior Alerts Official WhatsApp channel. When you join, you can download a free Senior Benefits Protection Guide, and you will get real-time alerts about Social Security, pensions, tax rules, banking regulations, insurance policy traps, and even travel rules that affect seniors. No spam, no sales, just the facts. Share this video with your adult children. This is one of those topics that families only talk about after it is too late. Bring it up now. I'm Edward. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.